Chevrolet parking lot in the International compound?
Chevrolet.
Wow.
This will surprise you, neither are runners.
What? It ran great when you parked it, right?
Yeah.
What kind of used car salesman
Yeah.
are you? Trying to feel out Bill and then feel out the vehicle as well. At the beginning of every project, obviously the condition of the vehicle is always the most important thing to me. Yeah, this one's pretty hammered, sir. It's,
Well, I bought these together.
Oh.
I loved this one, and that kind of went with the deal, and I thought maybe some parts were needed or something.
So this is a 54, right? I recognize
Yes.
this grill. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it too. When I saw this, it reminded me so much of when I was a kid, raised on a chicken farm, and we had one very similar to this. I have really great memories of it.
Bill's telling me the story about this pickup truck and, you know, his childhood memories. You know, he's got some passion for this thing before we even lay a hand on it, which is great. Bill's whole concept for this truck, you know, he loves the stock paint. He just wants to modernize it. It's got to be rock solid driver, and I got a couple ideas to just get it right out of the gate. If you want to reinvent the wheel and go super crazy, we can modify this chassis, but, you know, like we did with the Ranchero, you're like, never really handled well, never stopped well. We're in the same predicament with this.
Exactly.
TCI makes a chassis specifically for these years' trucks. And it's a freeway machine. I mean, it's proven. If you want that rock solid deal, why not just do that? Well, we can focus on the more creative aspect of this.
You know, I really wasn't thinking about a complete chassis. Ian has always steered me in a way that it's a little uncomfortable for a moment, but he always pulls it off, and I always love it at the end. I didn't realize they made all of that, where you could just, boom, bolt that on.
Yeah.
Sounds good? Do it.
Bill tells me, do whatever you want. And, you know, I sign on. So, okay, I got ideas. You know, let's start hashing this thing out. Looks like we got good potential with this green truck. He's also got the parts truck in addition to it. I say let's just get this thing in the shop and get to work. Once it was decided that we're gonna upgrade the entire chassis on Bill's old truck, I went straight to TCI. They've got the hot ticket. Hey man, how's it going?
Good, Ian. Nice to finally meet you, man.
Good to be here.
Welcome to our home.
You got quite a setup. I can't wait to see what you got going on.
Let's take a look around.
Cool. TCI is a parts fabrication company. In addition to suspension components, they make chassis, all kinds of subframe kits, complete frames, rolling chassis, you name it. What's going on here, man? The engine's in the wrong place.
Trying to put as much weight on the back axle as possible. It's going to be twin turbo, so the nickname for the truck is C-Twin. It's going to be a little bit on the extreme side. Roughly about 1,000 horsepower this will make.
Nice.
I kind of took charge of this build a couple years ago, and I don't think they ever assumed that it would go this far.
I love the brackets that hold the turbos. You know, everything is just nice.
I mean, we've all watched the show. We've seen some of the crazy contraptions that Ian's come up with. You think up an idea like you, and you run with it. That whole firewall I made, the more I watch this show, the more confident I get. So I'm not a sheet metal guy. You know?
are now. It looks good to me. Looking inside the truck, it's like, hey, that's something I would do. With Jason's setback engine design, you're completely cutting out the floor of the vehicle, so it was a really simple solution to take this Astrovan engine cover to make a airtight seal. I'm not sure really where his mind was at during this process, but I'd say he full custom nailed it. This looks familiar.
Yeah, so this is a little Model A, yeah. Full functioning shop, man.
You ain't kidding.
Well, here's your chassis.
Oh, wow.
Ready to go home with you.
That looks a little more developed.
We had the chassis assembled and ready to go before Ian got here. A little bit of a surprise.
Adjustable coilover, four-wheel disc brakes.
Yeah, ride tech coilovers front and rear.
Oh yeah, look at that sway bar in the back and in the front.
Throw some wheels on this thing, load it in the trailer.
Now this is what I'm talking about. You saw what we were working with on that pickup truck. This looks like a race car. You know, you see pictures in a magazine or a catalog, it doesn't do justice. Like seeing this thing from a plate of steel to this, that's heavy duty. Thanks again, man. This is exactly what the client needs to see. I'm excited to just roll it home.
I'm excited to see this truck finished.
This chassis swap is the game changer. I got a bunch of ideas I want to bounce off Bill. Just got to get this chassis back to the shop and go to work. Out with the old, in with the new. This chassis is at Bill's, and it's time to take this truck apart. My plan on disassembling this is cut everything off that we're not using. The body's free, the bumpers are free, but you see it's all still together. It's stuck. So I'm gonna try to use the persuading tool. I have a lot of tools, but on the top of the list, you know, caveman technology, it's kind of my ace. Bill wasn't really specific about what he wanted, except that he wanted to look old. So my whole plan here is to fool everybody into thinking it's this junky old truck. But underneath, it's like a tale of two cities. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This client, you know, the last project I did with him was a hit. Did some weird stuff, used some shopping cart corrals, and he loved it. I don't know if we're going that route with this truck, but we're gonna do something interesting. My whole challenge here is to retain some of the old stuff and fit in new stuff everywhere else I can. You know, I got a couple other tricks to try to make it look like nothing else happened.
Hey, Ian.
Right on time. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I got all this stuff separated. You know, the chassis here, I think we can take this apart and put it right on right now.
I love it. I love it, love it. It's just fantastic. Well, Ian was very correct, as always. This chassis, I mean, it's perfect.
I feel like if you can get your forklift in here, we'll be able to take this whole body off. We'll get the bed separate, but we'll leave the fenders and everything attached. Then I'll take out the back window and we'll be on our way. As a driver, this thing's gonna be fitted with all new glass, all new window seals, and you know, it's my duty, it's my civic duty to shock and terrorize the client at the beginning of every project. I can use a little finesse at times also. It's the oldest trick in the book, the ATC tire shim technique. Raise her up. One thing I keep forgetting is that this is an antique vehicle and it actually had a foot starter button. Told you there's always something else. Fire at the beginning of a project, perfectly acceptable. Fire at the end of a project, no bueno.
You're burning all the insulation.
I told you, we're short-stepping this whole process. Manual said raise 3 feet and disconnect the generator wires. I'm gonna check the oil pressure. Check.
Ready to rip?
Rip it.
What is that I hear clanking?
It's like childbirth, man. There's gonna be some pain. Bill's got people. His helper, Martine, is gonna be working on this project with me, and he's coming to help me lift the bed off.
Ian, this is my friend Martine,
Howdy.
and when I need a strong guy,
Well, good.
there he is.
All right, let's take this off and stand it up. There you have it.
Perfect.
There's your comparison. Wheel to wheel. It's almost an identical match, but look, it's all boxed. You see how strong these cross members are? There's a clear difference between what you had and what you got. Putting these two chassis side by side, you can really tell the difference. You know, the old school leaf spring suspension, the straight axle in the front, you know, it's purely utility truck setup. And this new thing, it's all race car. Oh, right away you could see that this is gonna be the theme. We're mixing new and old. I can relate to that because I'm an old guy with a young guy's brain. I used to have hair. Groovy gravy.
The stance is just what I was hoping. I know exactly what I want to do on the tires and wheels.
I know exactly what I want to do on the top. I'm gonna chop that thing.
Chopping it.
Looks like Bill took my request for an extended lunch break pretty seriously. He's nowhere in sight. So while I'm in my domain, let's get this chop on. challenge here is to keep it real subtle. Like when you look at his big roll-off truck, it's mellow, his Ranchero, et cetera, et cetera. They've all been radically changed, but when you look at it, you kind of don't really know what was changed. He's got this hot rod chassis underneath. It's not an old farm truck. I just want to give it a little more of an aggressive appearance. I'm not really sure how it's going to pan out. You know, sometimes I'll just go into a project, cut it all apart, and then figure out how to put it back together. But my new mode is subtle and thoughtful. That's 2 middle names. So, I'm gonna take a little extra time thinking it through. Pickup truck looks like a baseball cap. If you look at that and you look at the truck, that's it. So, you know, if you're wearing your hat like this, it gives one kind of a look, right? Some guys flip up the bill, et cetera, but I want it to be like kind of like down, you know? Kind of like all business. So, you know, you can wear your hat any way you like, or you can shop your truck any way you like. We'll see. Why am I wearing a Puerto Rico hat? The way I was brought into this is learn the rules, master the rules, and then break the rules. Throw them out the window. I just act like I don't know anything at the start of every day. I learn how to tie my shoes, I learn how to brush my teeth, and then I figure out how to chop a top. Chop top is not a set of rules, it's the simple lowering of the roof line. I figure you can go and draw any line you want through that thing, as long as it's a chop top. I'm subtle, 1.5 inches in the front, and a whopping 1 inch in the rear. So look at that, see? A little 1/2 inch down, it's 1/2 inch lower in the front. Now it's not that flat top baseball hat. See how the drip rails in the windows are just going just a little bit. That's a good call, Ian. I'm glad you did that. Thanks, Bill. That height looks good to me. I'm stopping with those dimensions. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing this. And we got a couple issues to contend with. And there's where your problem is. Every chop. If you keep the back in line, the front is not in line. And versa versa. Right on down the line. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. You got this big step. Nobody likes looking at a mismatch like this. I think I got a remedy that will remedy the remedy, bring it all together. I got a problem, I got a couple ideas for a solution, and no time like the present to try out some new ideas. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. The typical formula is you cut through the center here and extend it that much. But I don't want to do that. I want to give this pillar an angle. Starting off the rear portion of the cab with the simple flat sheet, so I tack welded the entire perimeter of the rear window skin into place. So the glass is still flat, but the cab has just a much rounder feeling in the back. I didn't mess up the paint. I got away with something. But we're not out of the woods yet. Bill wanting to retain this old paint, I'm leaving it all in place. I'm just gonna go very gingerly around the painted areas and put in as little new metal as possible. This is the trickiest part of the whole thing, getting these little pie cuts in. As it cools, it wants to collapse. So every time I weld it, pop it back into shape. You gotta go slow, just keep giving it the massage. Got all these tacked up. It's gonna be a lot of welding, so while it's cooling down, and you get onto these door tops, and that'll seal the deal. So now you get a real good illustration of how much it's chopped and how the pillars have changed. Not radical, but definitely different. Looks like my new middle name of subtle is really sticking. You know, this chop could lead off a whole new avenue. You know, I could just be shaving door handles for the rest of my career. So all that cutting that went on in the roof now has to transfer into the shape of these upper door frames. The challenge with this is that there is glass in there, so it's all gotta line up. So those pillars have to be perfectly parallel. You know, you can't do that with a piece of glass. Probably wondering how I'm gonna do that. Me too. Pie cut this pillar and the door and line them up. We got shop inspectors. That's what I get for not bringing the dogs. Now we got this guy. Some days we got cats. Now we got, what is this, a squirrel? I guess the shop is a little nuts at times, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. Hey, you with the fur. What's going on here? Can't get away from these animals, man. It was a brief visit, but a time has been well spent. A few final trims and we're in business. Now, the good thing about these open pie cuts is with that trim that goes there, I won't even have to cut that. I can just go blink, bend it, and it'll look so smooth. Same thing here, it'll hide all that work. So I'm only body working 1, 2, 3, 4 little slivers. Seeing this with the door tops in, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna weld this up, do the same to the other side, and just get a lot of the tedious welding done before Bill gets here. I can't wait to show this to Bill, and I've already got a few ideas for some custom stuff on the front. Got the chop all wrapped up, and here comes Bill.
Wow, did it again.
There's your chop.
Another miracle.
Well, guess how much it's chopped?
1.5 inches, 2 inches?
Well, yes, both answers are correct.
Oh, different. Oh yeah, look at the slope.
I raked it.
Subtlety.
I like the subtle chop. You know, it's appropriate for Mr. Bill and his needs.
You gotta love it. It looks better than the factory. That's the way GM should have built it.
That's what I'm always saying, man.
Yeah.
Glad to see Bill's happy. You know, my new middle name just might be sticking. Old Subtle Roussel. His wild ideas were cool, but man, that's subtle, smooth. So this is pretty much nailed. The grill is a whole other issue. Unless you want a big smashed in nose, you know, I can repair it, but it's always gonna be different.
Well, you've been chopping, I've been shopping.
Uh-huh.
So let me show you something.
A wizard with words. Oh, wait a second, that's no junkyard piece.
No, sir, that's a catalog buy.
Oh, a repop, okay.
Yeah.
This is a really nice piece. I didn't expect that.
I just thought the front is kind of, it just needs a little bit of something. And I think maybe Ian was like, whoa, here comes the house of chrome in here.
Let's just stick it on there and see what we're working with.
Okay,
Inside the shop, it's like a disco in there, man. Look at that.
it's pretty shy.
I'm not really saying anything to Bill, but you know, looking at the chrome on the grill and the chrome on the truck, you know, just bolting it on could create a pretty substantial mismatch. You know, I'm looking down into this grill, man, and there's me looking back at me. Yeah, that is a step in the right direction. And you say you got a chrome bumper to match.
I do.
I feel like it outshines the whole rest of the rig, you know?
It is a lot of chrome, I do agree. But I don't know.
The old grill is pretty smashed up. I'd consider it unusable. The new grill is pretty darn bright. Down in my bag of tricks, I think I might have a solution. Sometimes maybe A or B isn't the answer. Maybe it's A and B. A little less chrome, a little more of the old paint that you love. You just gotta figure out how it all goes back together. First step is to remove the top bar from the old painted grill and try to straighten it. Depending on how damaged this old grill is, will depend on how much of the new grill will be utilized. I'm trying to bring this ridge right back out. You can see how low it is. I'm making every effort to avoid heating it up because I'm trying to keep the old paint in place. If you just keep banging something against a flat surface, it's gonna get flat. If you bang it against a curved surface, guess what's gonna happen? The name of the game here is no rules, you know, whatever it takes to get this thing back in shape. See that? It's almost there. The old top bar is looking pretty straight. It's all a matter of how it lines up with this new grill. That does something. The good news is the straightened upper grill fits with the chrome perfectly. The bad news is we're not out of the woods yet. This is exactly what it needed. It seemed like the truck cab with all its character just kind of stopped and they put like a, you know, like a mask on the front of it. On a lead sled, say a 49 or 50 Merc, a lot of times the body color will surround the chrome entirely. So I'm gonna try to detach that one and then somehow fuse the bottom lip of that grill as well. That way the old patinaed color really shows the shape of the front of the truck. This is exactly what I was hoping for, you know, a little old, little new. Just like the chassis swap, you know, the look of the thing has to be upgraded as well. Because that's what he asked for, an old green farm truck. Too much chrome's gonna just outweigh the old patina. I think you're just gonna call the tow truck if you get a flat tire. You don't need an old truck tire hanging on the side of the rig. Just taking this off and smoothing that out so you don't have the big dimple in the fender. This one was kind of easy to talk him into. You know, he wasn't really married to the concept. It was pretty much a, hey, I want to do this. Okay, do it. And this will be real simple too, because your parts truck will just cut a section of the fender off of that and just patch that in, smooth it out, and you're done.
I sold the parts truck. It's gone, Ian. Sorry, I didn't know you were going to use that.
Well,
Here.
that was the plan 10 minutes ago.
What?
One day it was here, the next day it was gone. Case closed.
Guy came with money waving at me.
Okay.
So,
It just complicates things. Let me come up with plan B. Dome shapes like this are a little bit difficult to create. You could have been easy, you know?
no.
As usual, I've got some ideas. Just need a little alone time. I'll work it out. First thought process is, well, it's the wrong way. It's backwards. What if I put it rightwards? I wonder if I couldn't just put that on upside down. That ain't gonna work. Not getting out of this one that easy. I'm just gonna form one by hand. I know Bill's got a lot of stuff. I don't want to use new steel because that's so much of a contrast. This looks like that. Perfect. Making this out of a flat sheet with limited tools is a little more involved. You know, you have to stretch the metal pretty specifically, pretty controlled, with basic hand tools. I got this whole setup from Eastwood. It's a leather sandbag. It's full of sand. The idea is when you hammer on it, it gives a little bit. And then I got all these plastic hammers from Eastwood as well. And if I had a formula, I would explain it, but I don't. Let's just start hitting it. You can only either stretch or shrink metal. I only have the opportunity to stretch it, smooth it out with the English wheel, fit, repeat. Repeat performance of the old soft shoe technique. I don't know about you, it's starting to look like a piece of a Fender to me. So the benefit of using the other fender from the parts truck would have been that panel will just sit right in place. What I'm running into is the same issue as with the chop top. I created a panel and it's not an exact replica of the fender, so I'm gonna have to make a vertical slice similar to what I did on the back wall of the cab to get this to fall into place. Once I got all welded and ground down, it's exactly what I was hoping for. That's my business, the old subtle crisis solver. That's that. Literally, first time I ever did that. As with all the welding on this, it's gonna need refinement and touch-up paint. So I got into the factory paints a little more than I was hoping, but hey, it looks good, I'm gonna own it. The virgin barn find scenario. This isn't really that, but we're trying to make it look that way. There's gonna be a bunch more little dent and ding removal that I'll work out on this bed. The cab's coming in next for some cancer repair. This truck is a driver, and I'd call it complete. Completely subtle. That's a good looking rig, man. Walking up on it, it's got the stance, as a hot rod truck should. The whole theme with this was a little bit old, a little bit of new, and that's harder to accomplish than just the spoken word. The chop top, the chassis swap, mixing all that up and still having it present as kind of a barn find classic truck. It was a challenge. All it needed was everything.
the steering wheel's original.
That's true.
Once Ian finished his work on it, Martine and I got busy with a lot of little things I don't really know how to express. I think it's my favorite build.
You know, that TCI chassis, that's the game changer. This thing, it's not a ranch truck.
No.
It's kind of like ranch dressing on a race car.
Yeah.
Patina really sells it as that vintage work truck Bill was looking for, but everything else is cooler. The 17-inch rims with those low-profile tires sells it. It looks fast.
the overall look of the truck is exactly what I wanted. You know, I like kind of the stock look, but with just a little bit of change. You look at the few little pieces of chrome we added, the tires, the wheels, the little chop, and you go, that's not just drug off the farm. I was very concerned when you said, I'm subtle on this chop. I went, oh my God, he's not subtle. He's everything but that.
It was an interesting choice that Bill made in letting all the work show. You know, the weld seams are simply painted over to stop it from rusting, but you know, it works. It's like it's clear as day where I cut it, right? Somebody's gonna be like, nice truck, and another guy's gonna be there like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Something doesn't make sense.
I like it. I'm sure some people are gonna say, when are you gonna paint this? That's the way it is.
See what this baby can do, man. It's what this has all been leading up to. The easiest chop top I've ever got into. You know, the TCI chassis under it makes it a real street machine. This thing is built to boogie. Oh yes, there we go. It's not your grandfather's ranch truck. This is why your neighbors put up that slow down sign, now I know.
It's impressive, isn't it?
This is impressive. It's not even a pickup truck anymore. This thing is a road machine.
Yeah.
Bill was really surprised. You know, he is old school, right? So he's been in a lot of custom rides, and he's mostly really responding to how smooth and fresh and new it feels. You know, a lot of these older trucks, you step on the brakes and it goes off the road, right?
This one is straight as a die.
This is perfect.
It was a lot of fun to see Ian and have him drive the truck the first time. Ian's not often impressed with anything. As he was driving it, the response of the steering, the brakes, all of it, he was like, whoa, this is nice.
Yeah. You gotta check this out. Driving a truck's one thing, of course, but hey, this is a bit of a showpiece, in my opinion. I wanted to see how it looks coming down the lane. Just what the doctor ordered. You know, the way the front tires fit in the fenders, when it steers, you know, the bumper height to the ground, and Bill's idea to keep the green paint was perfect. It's got the stance, it's got the drivability. For a daily driver, this truck nails it. Hey, you wanna race, Grandpa? Some kids never grow up. My friend Ryan's stopping by, and it sounds like he might have an interesting project. Hey, hey.
Hey, Ian, what's up, man?
You made it out here.
I did.
Welcome to the Wild West, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
Good. I know you got some stuff to show me. What you bring?
Well, I need some advice. Basically, what I'm trying to do is like a vintage, almost recreation of an early 1900s board track racer.
Okay, yeah, like the first motorcycles when they raced them.
Exactly, when they were slapping engines into bike frames and the thing still had pedals. Cool. This is kind of what I'm after.
Heck yeah, that's right on. Yeah, they were literally, look, there's pedals on that as if it was a bicycle. Yeah, that's cool for sure.
And that's back when Harley and Davidson were still making those things in a shed out in the backyard.
Looking at this picture, it's something I recognized. I've always thought that these board track racers were super cool. Oh, I'm totally feeling you on this. It's like, it's danger on wheels. I'm all about that. Every good project starts with a pile of parts and a dream. So here we go. Oh, this is cool.
We got seats.
That's up the flavor right there.
Disc brakes. This is a pretty sweet steel gas tank.
Yeah. Wow, is this stainless? Because it almost seems like it's stainless.
It might be, yeah.
This is cool. That's the flavor right there.
Motor as well.
Well, that's new school.
Right.
That's no old-fashioned engine.
Fully automatic, 4-stroke. Basically, it's a glorified lawnmower engine.
Sure. This is a really cool collection of parts. I mean, it's definitely a great start. I'm just wondering, you know, where's the catch? What do you got for the frame?
All right, so this is maybe where the problem lies.
Why does every client have a problem? What's going on under here? Well, there's your problem right there.
Nice steel beach cruiser.
For sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There has not been any project that started easy. You know, there's always that one, but except for that moment.
At one point, it was actually motorized. I used to do 50 miles a day on this thing when I was commuting to work in Boston.
Oh, wow. So I get what you're saying. So you had your little toy, and now you want to take it further.
Exactly.
I mean, it's typical hot rod formula. You want to shove the biggest engine into the lightest chassis possible.
Right.
I think we should chuck this on the table. I'll give you some advice. The only way to see what we're working with is to start stacking parts. Let's get everything on the table and see where we're going. Here we are. You can see I've got this frame welded to the table, and now the challenge begins. Let's figure out how to get this engine and that gas tank into a frame that's longer, lower, leaner, meaner, a little more mature. These are the challenges, the aesthetic challenges of custom motorcycle building. Everything's exposed. You know, some bikes will have bodywork on them, but not this one. This is stripped down. So yeah, the frame is your canvas. Typical bicycle has one tube on the bottom. I'm gonna do it motorcycle style. I'm gonna split them like that, right out to the back tire. The whole thing is I want it to look very generic, like you would see one of those motorcycles, you know, without the fancy oval tubes or all the crazy bends. I want it to look very race bike. That'll work for me. The whole issue here is how does it work with the back rim? We're trying to bring a certain flavor or style into a project. You know, it's important to have all the right parts. So Ryan's brought in all the key components. The next step is to fit up this rear rim and see exactly how this frame is going to take place. The whole purpose of this is to line things up and keep it fixed in place while I'm welding. I'm making a jig for everything. I'm getting jiggy with this. Like butter. That's gonna go right down the center line. That's the whole reason for making this jig modular. I could take that tire and move it forward, backwards, side to side, whatever looks right. Did you see me put that tank in before? I didn't. Look, that fits perfectly. Now I'm starting to feel it. I'm putting a lot of weight on the visual aspect of this frame, and you know, looking at the rear angle on the tank, it made me think that that could possibly just transition straight down into where the rear tire is. I like it a lot. No project is complete without a little envisioning. Everything's coming into place. I'm gonna add these two pieces of angle iron simply as a structural element while I'm welding everything up. Just like these down supports to the table, I mean, it's all gonna get taken away, so you basically release the frame from the jig after you're done welding. Setting this lower tube for the frame in place is primarily visual. I know that the engine has a certain shape at the bottom of it, so I really want it to feel kind of like it has like a belly hanging down. I really like the way that this is starting off. The engine was way too big for the other frame, but it's gonna work in here, definitely. I like the wheelbase. I love the way the tank sits in there. My whole plan was doing two at once, so I want to get my bike in the works to at least this stage. It's going to be like dueling bicycles. Working on this motorized bicycle project got me thinking about my bicycle. I'm going pedal power, but in a pretty radical fashion. I like the wild stuff, and working on a conservative project only fuels my desire for the crazy. So right here are two of my favorite things in this pile. Might not look like much, but when you open them up, look at that. Now that's a tire. These are dirt track race car tires. Ryan's going skinny and low and conservative. I'm gonna be like the clown on the bike path. Fortunately, I got a pair of them. I know what you're thinking. Those don't look like bicycle tires. Just wait 1 second, my friends. The truth will set you free. Every project needs a little bit of Volkswagen. And that's where this dune buggy comes in. These things are gonna be perfect. There it is, full custom bicycle. I think we have everything we need for a perfect starting point. 2 tires, 2 rims, 1 bicycle frame. Here we go. You've heard this whole story about the middle-aged man and the spare tire. Yeah, this is sort of like that, but... Ooh. Look at that. Ooh, wasn't expecting that one. Man. Ladies. Hey, you want entertainment, you got it, right? That was part of my time being a rodeo clown. You know, everybody loves when your pants come down, you're wearing polka dot underwear, etc. There you go. It's all a rehearsal for my next career. See, that's the thing when you know you're a car guy, right? I can never really double dribble or do basketball tricks, but you put a couple car tires in my hand, I'm a natural. So, you get the point. With Ryan's project, I was challenged by the engine and the gas tank fitting on that frame. And now with this one, I'm challenged by those two tires fitting on this frame. Let's take this thing off the table and take it apart. This is a no hesitation approach. I know exactly what I need from this bike frame. Getting it all out of the way. Nobody get nervous. There's a madness to my method. Look at that, it's a perfect fit. I can see it already. All I have to do is connect the dots. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Looking at this project, I'm seeing all stars. You know, the practical side of me does see a few potential issues. It looks cool. All I have to do is figure out the rest. Ryan's frame's coming together, and I'm excited to see what he thinks.
Ian.
Hey, hey.
Whoa, check this out,
Got
dude.
you a frame, man.
Yes.
Not quite a bicycle, and it's not quite a motorcycle. It's somewhere in between.
Oh man, this is beautiful. Look at this thing.
The way you described it to me was like a guy would have made it just on a workbench, maybe with a torch and a bunch of lengths of tubing, right?
That's exactly right. It's got that vintage look and that hand-built look. Obviously, you built it by hand.
Right here.
I mean, it shows. Look at this thing, it's clean, man.
I felt like a single top rail really showed off the tank instead of hiding it.
That's a perfect fit.
You know, I want it to really be prominent, like the jewel on the ring or something. I gotta say, Ryan is very pleased with what he's looking at, and that's a relief for two reasons. Once, because I want to see him get what he wants, and most importantly, you know, I cut apart his bike frame, so there's really no going back on that one. That's pretty much what's happening with your frame at the point.
Wow, you really cut that thing up.
Clearly, Ryan has no idea of the transformation awaiting him with his old frame. Well, wait till you see what I'm doing with this. It's gonna change your whole mind about bicycles. Something
Nice.
weird's going on. You know, Ryan's a bit of a bicycle aficionado, and I can't wait to see what he thinks of my take on it. For the front forks on this bike, I'm thinking we could try a little combination, you know, a little old and a little new. Ryan's got these new front forks that are substantially stronger, but I think the style could be improved by using the Springer element of the old fork set and somehow mating them together.
That's the look, man. It's a little bit of the old, the vintage with the new. I even like a lot of the black with the chrome kind of mixed together.
Yeah, that gave the whole front of the bike like a ton of character. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 tubes just in the steering components.
Right.
It's definitely not a bicycle anymore. My goal today is to get a full visual mock-up. You know, the last two things to set in place are the handlebars and the seat. In Ryan describing kind of having a vintage logo on the tank, I think it fits it perfectly. I mean, that's what you'd have on a motorcycle, especially a race bike. I don't always sacrifice my tools for the job, but I noticed these pins in the tubing bender, they fit the seat exactly.
Oh,
Here.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
nice.
And then this can mount on a plate anywhere from here to back here. Putting in this last piece of the seat post bracket, the process is exactly how I went through the entire frame. When you see these sheet metal plates fastened to the tube, it really is just a gusset. It reinforces everything, makes it a lot stronger. All of my calculations and considerations have led up to this. Hop on there, see what it do. Let's see how he fits. It looks like it fits you, man. I mean,
It feels
totally.
good. Yeah. I mean, the added length to this thing. And, oh yeah, that's comfortable right there.
Nice. Get out of the way, let me ride. If I had to pick one though, it's definitely that. It's definitely that.
I mean, that doesn't look cramped at all. You look comfortable. You could probably ride a couple miles like that.
Ryan's bike is looking good, and the circus is about to come to town. My bike concept needs to catch up. First challenge is to set up the front tire to the headset and the frame. Luckily, I've got a plan. And the whole thing with this is I want it as compact as possible. The forks will determine how it steers and how high up off the ground it's gonna be. I've done a little prep work on the rims, and I think that'll really help with my concept. What you have here is a brake drum from a little truck. I started drilling it out because I want it ultra light. That goes right back into place. And that welds on like that. You'll look at motorcycles sometimes and the swing arm for the rear will be only on one side. So you'll see like this tire that appears to not be connected to the vehicle, which I thought was really cool. And that's the challenge with all of my projects, is trying out the unknown, right? And some folks may be wondering what I'm doing this for. I'm wondering also. That's as if the bicycle's rolling. No flex, no trouble, no nothing. So far, so good. You know, this will be the same procedure as Ryan's bike in that I'll attach it to the table and then commence welding. Part of the concept here is the compact design. It's gonna add up to some issues. I wanna make sure there's plenty of room to pedal when I'm cruising this thing, so I always like to take the straightforward approach. In this case, I'm gonna go for the old shoe test. So that is about it right there. Tried and true method. I gave up the steel toe business. I used them all on my cars, so now I'm down to these. That's the great thing about building something for myself. There are no other parameters. It only needs to fit my feet. I've driven weirder things. I'm feeling like I'm on the right track. Now, onto the back wheel. I added a tube to the rear of the frame, so now the wheelbase is fully customizable. This pleases me. Absolute nonsense. With the old soft shoe test, you could see that that's too close. I think if we just pull it back till the shoe falls off. It's a pretty long bicycle, eh? It's quite a bit longer than I was hoping for, but unfortunately, those are the parameters of the frame. Soft shoe technique has proved it. Now it's on to the welding it up final. The design of this frame is built with strength in mind. You can see it's not the most glamorous looking thing, but it is super strong. It's looking ridiculous enough to me. Let's put it on the ground and see what happens. You just get off it and there it is. It's just waiting for you. It's like a trusty steed. I can't take it. That thing is too cool. I gotta ride it now. It needs definitely a seat and some bigger bars. And then, you know, if this thing's working, three-ring circus is open for business. Totally works. I gotta say, this concept is a go. It totally rolls with a person on board. Now we're talking, look at that. That's all you needed. With this being said, if I get this thing to pedal, we are in business. Every aspect of this bike is coming together, except for that issue with the Springer fork alignment. I got the engine in place, but the entire driveline for this motor and pedal assembly came in a kit. So Ryan's gonna handle the assembly. Right now, I just wanna make this thing a roller. This bracket's causing these two to come together like a triangle. I want them out here. The task with modifying this bracket is to stretch it out, make it a little bit taller, and primarily make it look like it was built back in the day. So put a little clamp on it. The whole thing with building parts like this, from the frame to all the other things, is setting up jigs. That way when you weld it, it's held in place. That's a very simple idea. What's not so simple is making sure it maintains the exact same placement as before. So that's the idea with the layout and the clamping. Just depends what kind of mood you're in, you know? Sometimes you'll just wing it, sometimes you'll jig it. My plan here is to just use the stock, leave it oversized, make sure it's super strong, trim it back later. So this spine's gonna go on here to stop it from flexing. It's kind of cool, it's got like a little Art Deco feel to it, something like a track bike would have. All right, let's grab this and chop it up. That is some hot metal. I gotta get this thing cooled down pronto. Now I'm just gonna trim off all the excess fat and make it look pretty. In trimming this bracket back and finishing it, I'm trying to just kind of bring the elements of the frame into these other fabricated parts, so kind of make it look like everything was always that way. So there you have one full custom extended Springer fork thinger. Let's put it together and see if it's gonna work. And that goes on here, and that goes on there, like it's meant to be. I'm really starting to enjoy these bike projects. That's gonna work for me. You know, it's a way easier build than like a full custom car project. You know what I just realized? There's no top triple clamp. Look, there's supposed to be something up there holding the whole thing together. Just when you think you're too cool for school, you muck it all up. You know what, Ian? Stick to those balloon tire bikes. This Springer thing is way out of your league. So with the front end assembled, it's time to cut out the rear tire jig and get it on the ground. This is high tech. Look at that. Perfect. Ta-da. I know this looks like a simple jig that's just been holding the back tire in place while I build around it, but like a good magic trick, I've been diverting your attention. See, that's what you weren't expecting. The jig became the dropout for the rear tire. Drop her down. This thing rolls and steers, look at that. Seeing the chassis on the ground, everything looks good. You don't really feel the same way when it's sitting up on the table, so putting it on the ground, rolling it around, checking out the motion, pretty darn cool. I call this a roller and a steerer. Oh yeah, I think we're getting somewhere now. Ryan has his own mechanical skills and he's gonna take care of everything after I finish the fabrication. So I've got one more trick up my sleeve, but first I wanna get back to the balloon tire bicycle challenge. You got your pedals up front, your tire out back, but you can see there's no way to make that happen. So I got a shaft. I got sprocket on one side, sprocket on the other. Pedaling chain goes on one side. Power's transferred through this shaft to the other sprocket. It's about a 12-inch offset. Digging through my pile of stuff, I've found some bearings that will help create this offset drive chain that will make this thing pedal. Right now, I'm just at the mock-up stage. You know, this is just to see how things are gonna line up and what it's gonna take to make these chains connect. So by having this plate here and just tack weld it, I'll be able to kind of bend it front to back, and then the adjustment will give it like a, you know, a pitch. I mean, just looking down the barrel, oh man, now he's starting to feel it. Do you understand the concept now? It's called a jack shaft, chain offset. It's a bicycle, man. We've done far more exotic projects than this. This is a good sign. The front chain worked out perfectly. You know, the links lined up on the sprocket. Hopefully the back one works out the same. Just gonna yank this chain. Are you yanking my chain? Yes, I am. Let's roll the bike around and see what happens. The front and rear sprockets seem to be in alignment. Doesn't seem to be any derailing issues. The chain is very tight, but as long as everything's lined up, I'm gonna run it. If my calculations are correct, this thing is a direct drive from the pedal to the tire. This is what I was hoping to see, you know, my brain is spinning. What's gonna go wrong? I don't know. Nothing seems to be going wrong. Roussell's balloon tire bicycle mecca. Balloon tire bikes in every color, as long as you like black. See, this is where the master knows when to pull back. Someone with not quite as much experience would probably get on that thing, stomp on the pedal, and bend it all. I know better. Needs a lot more reinforcement. I got one more idea for Ryan's bike, and then both of these bicycles are ready for showtime. There's no proof like the test ride. We are out in the Wild West, the top secret testing grounds to see exactly what this thing's got. It's definitely got the style. The pedaling is pretty simple. You can see it's geared way down. It's not a high-speed machine. It's just something to putt around and enjoy the desert. Things that I really enjoy most is not so much performance, but style. This thing's kind of a gimmick. Good seating, good handlebar position. I call this one a win. I don't know if Ryan's bike could do this. Full custom reverse motion. Perfect. You roll up and everybody looks at that like, what the heck are you riding? No kickstand needed. You know, all in all, this thing is a, hey, look at me. It's kind of like those show cars I make, right? Does it work? Yes. Is it practical? Probably not. Is it fun? Yes, that's the key. Yeah, this thing is in the prototype phase. You know, I just sprayed it black so it looks clean, put a bunch of gussets in around the rear end just to keep this big tire stable. My whole theory was, can I put these giant tires on a bicycle and make it function? And the proof's in the pudding, it works. I gotta say, 30 miles on this machine out in the open wilderness, it's just a warm-up. I'm ready to go 30 more. I told Ryan to meet me out here. He said his bike's ready, and I'm really excited to check out what's been done to it.
What's up, Ian?
Hey, you found the secret location.
Look at that thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah, look at
out
that
of
thing,
control,
too.
man. Pulling up right away, I noticed this monster truck wheeled, like, bat bike that he's got going on. I mean, this thing's awesome. It's what I imagine Bruce Wayne would roll up to the beach party in.
The big challenge was getting the chain drive around that tire, and it worked out fine. I don't know what Ryan was expecting, but he seemed kind of like pie-eyed, right? His eyes were very wide. He was trying to figure out what the heck this thing was.
That old frame went to good use. You're gonna be the envy of every cyclist on the road.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a departure from what you had going on, but that is what it is. That's its forever home. What the heck's going on with this? You said you got it running.
Oh yeah, check it out.
Walking up on Ryan's bike, I gotta say it's awesome. A vintage board track racer. It's got the look for sure. What did you do to the frame? That looks different. It's brightened up or something.
Yeah, just gave it a little bit of a steel brush and then a clear coat of Eastwood matte.
Oh, the tank looks good too. This describes perfectly why I handed the tank to Scratch and walked away, because he knows what to do. It's got that perfect vintage flavor. I knew bringing it to him was a sure thing, because he's just got that style, right? That looks old-fashioned.
I love the color schematic he did on it too. It just blends into the rest of the bike perfectly.
I think we nailed it. Sure, it's got modern rims, modern engine, but it's definitely got the flavor. Got the disc brake on there. Those grips are cool too.
A lot of what I did was just bells and whistles. I did rebuild the motor a little bit. I mean, aside from just jewelry, I would say, it's really all Ian and what he did with his frame, and that's really what makes the bike.
It's nothing I would have thought of building, but here we are. Let's ride it. It works. Ryan seems really charged up. Today's the test drive day.
Scratch hooked it up with a brand new Bell helmet.
Nice. Nothing to it but to do it. We're off to the races. I don't want to say you're up against an unfair opponent, but I'm going to race you to the pavement, and then it's all you after that. I know what I'm up against, so I'm giving myself a little lead. I get a 10-bike lead. By the time that thing is started, I should be in position. It's the classic tortoise and the hare scenario. I'm going to leave a little early and get there right on time. I tell you, I could get used to this. Come on, let's go. Damn, kids. But he doesn't have the style like I do. That's all I could say.